And we're off to start round 5 of the Virtual Motorsports Stock Hatch Series. I got a decent qualifying starting 6th. Unlike last week, I got a better launch here, partially due to some reworking of my gearing. The downside is my start isn't good enough to get by Skizmo in 5th, but not poor enough that I can get right behind him. So I'm sort of trapped on the inside of turn 1 there and lose time trying not to understeer to him. Now I lose some speed for it as Watchman catches me pretty quick here. The North Grandstand section is one of the most difficult sections of the Yas Marina North layout. That's where we're heading right now. Both Skizmo and Clark, my teammate up ahead there, end up making a mistake in this turn. I try to get an outside pass on Skizmo here, but can't quite complete it as we go on to the longest straight of the track. I probably should have drafted Skizmo a little more as we're going down toward the west grandstand section here so that I could get by him. Instead I stayed next to him, which ends up costing me down here. I have to brake a little earlier than most people in this area, probably because I'm running less downforce and Crux gains a huge amount of time to me on that one turn. Going into turn 1 of lap 2, Skizmo goes a bit wide on his exit, and I try to size him up for turn 2. I stay inside, and Skizmo holds his line, and we make a slight contact there. That loss of momentum will allow Crux to go by me as we head down into the North Grandstand section again. On to lap 3. I've hung on to Crux as we head down into the West Grandstand section, and you can see Skizmo goes quite wide through there. He'll lose a spot, and because he gets caught on the inside of this turn, he loses some speed on the front straight, and I end up moving up a position back into 6th where I started. Up to lap 15 now, and that's all the further Crux has pulled ahead. I've actually been running most of my laps several tenths slower than practice, and both O&R Punch and Skizmo have been right on my tail. I decide, since it's about halfway through the race, I'll go ahead and pit now, and maybe I can get a groove back on fresh tires. Get it? Groove. Fresh tires. Never mind. About 5 laps later, I'm not really getting my practice times with any consistency, and although I've gotten a little space between Skizmo and I, after Crux comes out of his pit, I really haven't made up any time on him. During this time, Punch had been running laps on old tires with clean air, and he ended up pitting the very next lap. But fortunately, I managed to hang on to 6th position and just barely squeak by him. On the final lap, I'm close to Crux, but too far to make a pass. A Punch announces his intention to dive bomb the West Grandstand section. I attempt an over and underpass to counter him, but the door is shut and I end up finishing the race in 7th.